All right. I think now it's time we can start. So I'll say hi to everybody again, and a very warm welcome to the 14th CESRA talk titled Building Soil Carbon Resilience: Scientific Evidence from Zero Tillage and Regenerative Agriculture Practices. So today the topic is very interesting. So we will have the discussion on the role of zero tillage and regenerative agriculture practices in building soil carbon resilience. We will also explore the latest scientific evidence on soil carbon sequestration and consider how these practices can contribute to climate resilience and sustainable agriculture system. It is our great pleasure today to have with us Dr. Rakesh Savan, the associate scientist at the International Crop Research Institute for the semi-arid topics from India. So Dr. Savan will share the scientific insights into soil carbon resilience with a particular focus on zero tillage and regenerative agriculture practices. His presentation will also highlight the implications of these approaches for developing more climate resilient and sustainable agriculture system. So, Dr. Savan, so thank you very much for joining us today. We are honored to have you with us, and we are truly honored to have you with us today. Without further ado, I will hand the floor over to you. And following the presentation, we will open the session for question and group discussion later. So now, Dr. Savan, the floor is yours.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Anupol. Thank you so much. So, very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to the global audience across countries. There are researchers, scientists, students. So again, welcome to this virtual presentation seminar. So again, firstly, I thank CESRA and team for this wonderful opportunity. So I am Dr. Rakesh at ICRISAT. I am an associate scientist specialized in agroecologies. So I am working here from 3 years. And before ICRISAT, I worked in ICR-NAM, Hyderabad for 5 years. And then I joined ICRISAT. So in ICRISAT, I'm working, majorly focusing on regenerative agriculture and climate resilient technologies. So I look after the strategic research trials at ICRISAT and also the farmers participatory validation trials across several projects in India. So here our major focus and vision, our vision and mission is to serve the farmers community, specifically the smallholder farmers who are there in dryland regions especially. So that is what our mission, to serve this community, to improve their livelihoods, also addressing the climate resilience, soil health, and the overall crop production, addressing food security as well as nutritional security. So this is a small introduction of myself. So let me share my screen. Just a moment. I hope my screen is visible.
Not yet.
Oh,
okay. Yes, now it's visible.
Okay. So let me again double check. My voice is clear and also the screen is visible.
Yeah, your voice is clear, but maybe you can also put it on the full screen for your presentation.
Okay. It is clear now, Anupol?
No, it went back to your video panel. Can you try to share it again?
Yeah. I will again reshare. Yes.
share the full screen. Share.
Yeah. Whiteboard.
No, yeah. Share.
I think. Okay. I think it's better to stop my video for more clarity.
We still haven't seen the screen yet.
Is it okay now?
No, not yet.
Yes. Uploading.
Or maybe can we also share it from the admin from CESRA? Dr. Rakesh, are you still there? Yeah. I think he's having a problem with the connection now. So let's wait for him for a few minutes.
Share screen.
Check the performance.
Check the. Is it visible now?
Okay.
Anupul?
Yes, now it's great. Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry for the inconvenience. Okay. Right. Now it is clear. So, audience, I'm sorry. Actually, there was some glitch, so we just fixed it. So thank you so much. So the given title for today is on building soil carbon resilience. So before going into the presentation, I just want to highlight why it is important, because as we all talk about soil carbon sequestration, achieving land degradation neutrality, food security. Because thing is, these are all well connected and intrinsically connected with the soil carbon. So when we say soil carbon, that is, it is not only a carbon, it's a single element, but it is having a relationship with a lot of soil microbes. And when the microbes are happy, then the processes, then the nutrient dynamics, the whole crop environment, the micro ecosystem, everything changes. Then the overall soil health again. When the soil is healthy, then the crop roots and it can take sufficient amount of nutrients from the soil, and the physical manipulation again from the carbon, whatever it do with the soil structure specifically. So that again, improves the soil water holding capacity. So there are several, several advantages and benefits and co-benefits of soil carbon. So that is why when we talk about climate resilience again, since we are producing a lot of greenhouse gases to the environment, so again, the huge CO2 is already there. So we have to again bring back to those amounts of CO2, whatever we emitted since from decades back, that has to be sequestered, because now the challenge is that achieving the environmental security again. So overall, the soil carbon is being a key player of the whole humanity or mankind. So as a small introduction, I'll go to the next slide. So as a small introduction, this is now an alarm for us, because our human population specifically, it is already reached 8 billion. So by 2050, we are expecting 9.7 billion. So now it is a great challenge for us to produce more food. So that is, we need at least 60% more food to meet the requirements of this human population.
Sorry, Dr. Rakesh.
Yes.
Now your slide is not moving.
I'm on a second slide.
Now I see the first page, still seeing the cover.
Okay, sorry. Probably some glitch in the online. Yeah. Again, I just changed to second slide.
Still not visible. It's still on the first slide.
Okay. What are you? Why it's not moving? I think Anupol, can I share this PDF to you so that you can also share?
Yeah, sure. I'll try that. Okay.
Yeah, just a minute. Okay. Yeah, next slide. Okay, yeah.
Yes, now it works.
Thank you so much. I think that would be better to deal with this issue. Thank you. That's fine. It's fine. Thank you. So as I was talking about the alarms and global challenges, now it is the serious situation for us to meet the food demand. So by 2050, we are expecting 9.7 billion. That means 10 billion of population. So we have to act. It's a very serious time to act accordingly. So the climate change, when we are saying about carbon dioxide, it was 300 ppm decades back. Now it has reached 400 ppm. In 24, it is already the estimation saying the 421 ppm of carbon dioxide levels are there in atmosphere. So as a result, again, the global warming, the issues that resulting into flooding, a lot of climate extreme changes we are witnessing, and these again resulting into the crop loss. So around by 2050 we are expecting 15 to 25% whatever we grow in the soil, that will be going to lose at least 25 to 30%. So there is a huge yield gaps in dry lands. So almost 50% we are having this 50% yield gaps already there. So to achieve the land degradation neutrality, the carbon resilience to be addressed. So without carbon resilience, we cannot feed 10 billion. Though, so we have to, it's a time to act now. So next slide, please. So this map showing the whole global soil status, the carbon status in the global soils. So if you see the percentage, it is only 0.3% or lesser than that. The carbon, soil organic carbon, it is 0.3% or very lesser than that. In many dryland soils, even if you sample and estimate, you will get 0.1% and 0.2%. So that it is now a critical time for us to sequester as much as possible, sequester more carbon as much as possible. Next. So this slide showing the importance of achieving land degradation neutrality. So there are 3 ways to achieve land degradation neutrality. So the action plans are, firstly, we have to protect the lands, whatever we have, through some conservation measures, and we have to adopt the sustainable farming practices, and thirdly, we have to we have to look after whatever the damaging factors are there that has to be studied and take action accordingly. So if you see the global SDG targets, so we have already SDG 15. That is how we are addressing life on land. So that is one of the component also connected with the SDGs. So SDG 15.3 is achieving land degradation neutral world. So this slide is all about achieving the land degradation neutrality through carbon. Next, please. And now the 4 per milli concept. Most of researchers who are studying in soil aspects and also crop aspect, they must have have some knowledge about this 4 per milli concept. There is there has already some estimations or computation made by the Paris Agreement that however we are producing huge amounts of greenhouse gases, that majorly carbon dioxide. So it is 8.9 gigatons of carbon dioxide we are emitting annually at global level, and the soil have reserves of 2004 gigatons of carbon. So based on this calculation, there is an estimation made that if we increase at least 0.4% of carbon every year, so within 10 or 15 years, we could be able to achieve zero emission. Means there will be a neutrality, there will be a balance between whatever we are emitting and the sequestering. So this is now a huge challenge for researchers and all the stakeholders of agriculture to take action over increasing carbon every year, at least 0.4%. This is the 4 per milli concept. Next, please. So for the India's case, our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, he has already agreed that we will be going to restore 26 million hectares of land by 2030. So this was one of the great initiation already promised, and a lot of conservation agriculture practices already being taken across the states or through several projects, and also through government subsidies for the carbon farming practices. Next, please. So now the regenerative agriculture. So you have seen in the title, there was a mentioning of zero tillage and regenerative agriculture. So people across world, they speak about natural farming, organic farming, the sustainable agriculture, climate resilient agriculture. So what actually it is? It is not always what we are doing. It is actually how we are doing. So that is what I want to introduce from ICRISAT side, that what components we are covering under regenerative agriculture practices. So specifically to achieve soil organic carbon much higher than compared to the conventional practices. Next, please. So this was the a national stakeholder consultation workshop happened in 2022 to create awareness on regenerative agriculture and to come up with the recommendation what actually the soil researchers or crop researchers should do to improve the resilient soil health and livelihoods. So next, please. So the recommendations were made, like when we are talking about soil research or carbon research, we have to consider a long-term experiments. Otherwise, taking 1 or 2 years of experiment, it's not enough. And when we are coming with the recommendations, the components, rather than taking one crop, we have to take a different cropping systems, and that has to be compared with the conventional practices. So this was in we have to consider these factors, the multi-dimensional factors, and the real-time performance monitoring and data generation should be considered. So otherwise, whatever we recommend to at the farmer's field level, that cannot be taken directly unless these factors are addressed. Next, please. So the major objective of taking regenerative agriculture at ICRISAT was to create science-based evidence on regenerative agriculture and coming with the recommendations for different soil domains. Since we have two different soil types, one is red soil and another is black soil. The red soil is anti soil and alphy soil, and the black soil is watty soil. So we have two different soil types, and we are coming with the recommendations for two different soil domains. And also the capacity building, because there are a lot of value chain actors in the agriculture. So the creating awareness through showcasing the living through our living labs. This is what living lab, what the regenerative agriculture whole concept that we covered in the living labs. So we are capacitizing the farmers, the line departments, and also the showcasing to the scientific community that what actually we are doing in the regenerative agriculture concept. Next, please. So these are the photographs that the living labs what we have for dryland, majorly for the dryland showcase that we in watty soil and alphy soil. So we have two different soil domains to carry out this research. Next. Next, please. Yeah. So this is now the definition. You can see we are taking we are considering the lot of key components. But majorly there is a zero tillage, that is reduced tillage or zero tillage, and the cropping systems. See, in India or many across the world, farmers are practicing only one crop. Majorly, sometimes farmers are going with only paddy, and sometimes only maize or only sorghum. But the thing is, there is no diversification. So our crop diversification is also one of the key principles, one of the principles of conservation agriculture. So we have to diversify the crops with adopting legumes, oilseeds, and millets within the cropping system. Whatever we have, suppose a farmer growing maize, so we can go with the maize plus PGNP. Or if suppose the sorghum farmer growing sorghum, we can go with the sorghum plus PGNP plus in the Rabi he can take green gram or soybean or chickpea. So we have to diversify. Otherwise, the soil overall soil health cannot be improved. Suppose if I take same food every day, I cannot take the same food every day. I have to take different kind of foods to improve my overall health and also my satisfaction as well. So the same case with the soil. When we adopt different cropping systems, the crops, the overall soil quality can be improved. And we are taking compost and biochar specifically, and biologicals as well. Biologicals nothing but a biofertilizer. It is a consortia we are using that where there is azospirillum, stobacter, PS phosphorus solubilizing bacteria. So so these all, it's a consortia. We are treating the seeds with the biologicals first before sowing, and the residue management again. Whatever the crop harvested, so we keep the crops as a residue, as a mulch, so that the soil surface can be protected from the sunlight. And the mulch is also one of the great source of carbon, and it improves the soil water holding capacity as well. So there are a lot of co-benefits of this whole overall. So intensive use of cover crops, that is very much important. We are using soybean, green gram, chickpea as a cover crop. So these are whole components of regenerative agriculture. Next slide, please. So if you see the key setup of regenerative agriculture before taking these components, so the zero tillage management is very much important, and the permanent raised beds. That means taking 1.5 meter of beds. When the huge excess rain comes, then the excess water will drain out. So we can take in both the soil types, both for black soil and red soil. So we will only sow on the beds, so that permanent beds will be completely undisturbed, all the crops will be sown on the beds, so there will be no tillage. So then the cropping system, the residue mulching, soil health management practices, and the subsurface drip irrigation. This is one of another component. We only give irrigation whenever the crop reaches critical irrigation requirement. Then otherwise we don't give. Since we are addressing the dryland issues, we have to go with minimum minimum water requirement crops. Yes, next please. Yeah. So these are the whole package of regenerative agriculture. Firstly, we need quality seed. The climate resilient seeds, varieties, crop varieties. If we adopt with the farmer's seed, generally we cannot achieve. We cannot be able to achieve the desired crop yields. So firstly, improved seed is very much important. Then the soil test based fertilizer. Then the integrated pest management, biological, zero tillage, crop diversification, and as I said, the biochar is one of the component in this experiment, and also aerobic composting. I will talk about this later. Next. So this is some of the pictures of our living lab. So next, please. Yeah, so these are the main treatment trials, what we are taking, different cropping systems rather than one crop. So for black soil, we are taking PGMP as a main intercrop. For the red soil, the groundnut as a main intercrop we are taking. And under the regenerative agriculture practices, we have already included mulch and biological consortia and biochar with the soil test based fertilizer. So these are the treatment setup. So one who is interested in what treatments we are taking, so they can go through. They can take a snapshot as well. So next. So this is in red soil again. So that was the earlier slide for a black soil, and this slide for the red soil. So here you can see the pearl millet, groundnut is the major intercrop, and that we are growing with pearl millet and PGNP as well, sorghum as well. So these are again the same case, the treatment setup, taking biochar in different doses, 1 tons, 2 tons, 3 tons. So next. Next, please. Yeah. So these are the main trials of the varieties, crop varieties, what we have used. So these are available in India. So next, please. And this for red soil again. Next. So yeah. So the soil carbon status, when we adopted regenerative agriculture, you can see where is VS3 and VS4. VS3 and VS4, where there is PGNP, that these two cropping systems, improving soil carbon to somewhat significant extent in the second year. But in the first year, we noticed, there was no significant variation. But in the second year, it took almost 2 years of time to improve the soil carbon to the somewhat substantial extent. So when we adopted biological consortia with the mulch and soil test based fertilizer, you can see on the right side. So that graph is showing the adoption of, or the integration of these components can help in achieving soil carbon status. So the red line indicating the initial status, it was 3.5 grams per kg. That means 0.35%. So if you multiply percent into 10, you will get the value gram per kg. So it was 0.35% at the initial stage. So we could be able to achieve, nearly 0.42 in the, after 2 years of experimentation. So next, please. So this is same in the 5 to 15 centimeter layer. The earlier slide was for 0 to 5 centimeter, and this one is for 5 to 15. So we are checking in different layers as well. So the next slide, please. So this slide, now you can see on the right side where when we started applying biochar. So this is only within the 1 or 2 years, we could be able to achieve more than what actually this biological consortium, mulch and STBF, these components did. We could be able to achieve more than when we adopted biochar. So that is specifically 3 tons per hectare. So almost 2 tons and 3 tons played very similar role. But when we adopted this biochar again in our regenerative agriculture, when we consider this as one of the component, we achieved again the bit higher levels of carbon. That is up to it was 10%, 8 to 10% with the normal practices, where there is a mulch biological STBF, and now when we adopted biochar, it has reached up to 20% of increment. So next. Next, please. Next. Next. Okay, next. These are the yields. It's not required very much. And this is my PhD research. What I did when we adopted zero tillage and compared with the conventional tillage, when we adopted rice maize cropping system, since the maize has huge biomass compared to rice wheat, so the rice maize cropping system have improved. The carbon levels were very higher compared to the rice wheat cropping system. The stabilization rates were very much higher. And again, when we compare with the alfisol and insectisol and alfisol, so the stabilization where there is a clay content, the carbon stabilization very high. So that's what the global researchers see usually in the high clay soils. But we have to compare that with the low clay soils as well. So where there is the two cases of soil, two soil types, we can come up with proper recommendation with the zero tillage. So what I found is insectisols have high carbon stabilization rates compared to the red soil, alfisol, even antisols. So next, please. So this was all about the soil textural difference, how different carbon fractions behave when there is a low clay and when there is a high clay. So in antisol, the particulate organic carbon, which is a very labile carbon, so that was highly correlated with the antisol, where in antisol we can notice more particulate organic carbon compared to the clay soil. That's what I found in my case, where there is a high clay, I noticed more mineral associated carbon. So the clay giving more space for these fractions. So the consideration of soil texture is very much important when we are studying soil carbon or carbon fractions or carbon dynamics in any case. Next, please. So this is one of our recent publication. We published soil carbon fractionation protocol, the whole package. We included all the procedures of estimating different carbon labile and non-labile pools. So it's a recent achievement under the guidance of Dr. Gajanan Saurgaonkar, who is our supervisor. So this is a team. We have Dr. Ramesh Singh, who is our GRPD, and Dr. Mangilal Jat. He was our ex-GRPD, and presently he's a DG ICAR. So next. So this is about the whole meta-analysis. See, when we are conducting experiments, so we will get certain levels of carbon accumulation rates, and that is, again, we are comparing the yields, a lot of things. But when we do meta-analysis and see, this is actually I taken from a lot of experiments, and again that put it into artificial intelligence and took the overall observations. When we see the residue retention or mulching, when we adopt biochar also, there is we can notice a huge amount, stabilization rates of carbon. So compared to only zero tillage or compared to only biochar, it is always better to integrate the different components to achieve soil carbon levels higher. So that's why we should not focus on only one element. Better it should be a holistic package of practices adopting different components that really helps achieving higher carbon levels. So in the red color, you can see there's a 23%. That is not a carbon percent, it is a percent increment that what other researchers are noticing. It's a meta-analysis of 900 studies almost. So it is showing when there is a biochar and when there is a residue or mulch adoption, so we can achieve high carbon levels. Next, please. So if you see the time, how much time actually it takes. Researchers speak about soil carbon under the effect of integrated nutrient management. Suppose I applied FYM with some saltage-based fertilizer or 75% RDF, recommended dose of fertilizers. So they are noticing sometimes there are several researchers. They are sometimes underestimating or overestimating the actual carbon improvements. So if you see this table, you can notice if we apply compost, it takes at least at least 5 to 10 years to attain the desired amount. 5 to 10 years. And again, green manure. So if you see the biochar, and when there is a no tillage and residue plus biochar, so within 3 years we could be able to achieve desired levels of carbon. Say suppose 20% or 30%. So that's what the benefit of adoption of to residue management along with the biochar. So under the zero tillage aspect, so we can be able to achieve maximum carbon sequestration. Next, please. So this is the continuation of the slide. So that's what within the short span of time we could be able to achieve maximum carbon stabilization rates. So these are all meta-analysis data. Next, please. So experience from farmers' participatory validation trials, whatever we are carrying out the trials across different projects. So I would like to present within short time. Please, next, please. So this is how we are we are going to the farmers' field. We are taking the samples and we are bringing the samples to ICRISAT, and we are checking the at least 13 to 16 elements, the important soil nutrients, fertility factors. And we are developing the soil health cards, and we are providing to the farmers, to the individual farmers. This is our first approach. The next, please. And this is our laboratory, a Charles Reynolds Analytical Laboratory, crawl lab, we say. So in the picture, you can see we have Dr. Pushpajit Chowdhury. He is in charge of this laboratory and also a chair of SEALNet, Asian Soil Laboratory Network. So next, please. Next, please. This is not required. Yeah, this is one of our recent publications where we noticed adoption of this package where there is improved varieties, soil test-based fertilizer, and IPM, integrated pest management. We noticed 50 to 40% yield increments in case of finger millet, and with the paddy it was 10 to 30% yield increments. So this is one of the case that if we take these components as regenerative agriculture practice, but when we include again biochar and biologicals and a lot of these several components, the benefits will be more. That the present research is ongoing. We are taking a lot of those experiments again. Next, please. So this is about the project fields where we tested the farmers' fields. We could be able to notice 8 to 19% improvement. That is after 3 years. That is also after 3 years. Only 8 to 20%. So it is taking time. Carbon stabilization. It's a time process. So next, please. So these are some of the mechanizations. Just I wanted to highlight what sort of equipments for sowing crops under zero tillage. We are using multi-crop planter. So where we can sow all sort of oil seeds, pulses, even millets as well. So we are having all these machineries, scale appropriate mechanization for smallholders exclusively. So these are some of the equipments. Next. And you can see here the broad bed furrows I was saying about. So this is how the beds can be made, and this is for millet again. So this millet crop planter. We can sow the seeds and we can form the broad beds at the same time. So these are the equipments. So next. So this is one of the case study we recently studied in different agroecologies in Odisha, India. So where soil profile characterization was made, where we noticed that you can see on the right side there are some pictures in a square rectangular shape. you can see there is the biological parameters I have mentioned. That is a soil quality index with respect to the biological properties. And you can see there are a lot of soil quality index with respect to chemical, biological, nutrients, physical, all. So we can, rather than taking overall soil quality index, we can also do SQI specific to the biological parameters, nutrient parameters as well. So what we noticed actually, where there is we studied in 4 different agroecologies. One is fallow, millet, paddy, and vegetable systems. So where there is a millet system, we noticed biological soil quality index is very high. Where because since there is no much application of chemical fertilizers or pesticides, something like that. And where there is a paddy system, we noticed physical quality index was very poor. So these figures are indicating the poor physical status of paddy system. That's what practicing monocropping throughout the years, it degrades the soil like anything. So that's why we have to come up with the recommendations to diversify the crops. So that's why we will be going to publish this paper in coming days. So next, please. So the crop residue, why I want to highlight, residues are the rich source of carbon and other nutrients as well. So in India case, we are producing around 500 million tons of residues, but unfortunately, almost 100 million tons of residues are being burnt. So this has to be avoided. If this is the case for different countries as well, we have to avoid this. We have to restrict this, burning practice, because it is killing the microbes at the same time, emitting a lot of gases to the environment. So the carbon dioxide, the methane gases. So these are all contributing to, again, the global warming issues. So let us restrict this and let us avoid burning and convert this into compost or biochar. So I will show in the next slides. Next, please. So this is our recent achievement. We have established a Center of Excellence for Biochar production. So we have named it as the Biochar System Research and Innovation Hub. So we recently established at ICRISAT. So we have also got Best Initiative Award for this achievement. So we are testing here. We are taking different crops. We are trying with trying biochar with different crops which are high CN ratio. Like we are taking maize cobs, we are taking groundnut shells, we are taking sunflower heads and paddy husk. So that's what we have to we have to convert these wastage into wealth. So if we convert these crop residues into biochar, so definitely that can have a high carbon credit value, and we can improve the soil health. We can lesser the emissions, and again this is the some creation of another alternate money creation option for the farmers. So that's what we are testing here. We are having 2 different types of biochar production unit. One is for completely community level production, and another is for household level production. So whatever you're seeing, the drums, that is decentralized unit, and the bigger one in the black, it is centralized unit. So if the farmers SHG groups, self-help groups want to go with biochar production, they can have this centralized unit. If myself want to produce biochar, I can go with the decentralized unit. So we are developing these prototypes actually for increasing the overall conversion efficiency of biochar, and we are also trying to embed this biochar with microbes and other nutrients as well, so that we can come up with nutrient enriched biochar. So those innovations are presently going on. So next, please. So there is again the unit that we have, and this recently we studied the carbon stability, the stable carbon percentage. We check with the different at what temperature we could achieve more carbon efficiency, and whether the process should be slow or the process should be fast. So we published recently. Is one who is interested in studying this biochar aspect. They can we have published a lot of papers. So the overall result what we observed is biochar have almost 90% of stable carbon. So definitely we can go with biochar application for long-term sea sequestration achievements. So next, please. So these are our recent year publications. So we could be able to publish also in Journal of Cleaner Production, which have around 14, 15 impact factor. So we have a lot of our esteemed eminent scientists in this contribution. So next, please. So I was saying about conversion of waste products into wealth. So when we are saying waste, that is residues. So residues can be converted into a compost. So we are having a technology, means we are convert this technology have been we recommended this technology to smallholder farmers specifically. So they are now converting their all those wastages into compost within a short period of time. So let's say 2 to 3 months, we can get it in a very less span of time. We have our own microbial consortia. It has to mix with some cow dung slurry and just apply on the residue. It will get converted into compost. So this is one of the technology. And again, the water hyacinth. The water hyacinth is it's an aquatic weed. Generally, it is you can observe in the ponds where there is a huge stagnation of water. Now we will see this water hyacinth waste. So these waste can also be converted into compost, and that can be utilized for the farm, as a manure to the farms. Next, please. So these are the wastages, how we are conducting this composting technology in different regions. So where they are harvesting all these weeds and converting it into compost. So this is the case of Puri and Khurda districts of Odisha. So we could be able to achieve almost thousands units of, the one unit is one heap. So we able to achieve almost 1,000 to 1,200 units. Next, please. Yeah. Okay. So I just wanted to highlight this carbon credit concept specifically for the early researchers, where if we simply talk about improving soil carbon, achieving land degradation neutrality, it's not enough. We have to come with the solutions. So we all know the carbon credit concept. We have heard a lot about this carbon credit concept, but many people are not much aware of how these values can be converted. It is actually, one carbon credit means it is 1 ton of carbon dioxide equivalent. So that can be, if there are students and the one who is interested in this computation, they can take a snapshot of this. So we can so the soil carbon percentage is multiplied with bulk density, then the soil depth, then again into the conversion factor, it is 3.67. So that we will get actual carbon dioxide equivalent for 1 carbon credit. So if I adopt zero tillage and residue management, I am getting 15 credits per hectare. So 15 credits means it is you can see there is a mentioning of 13,500 rupees. So it is nearly around hardly $100. Sorry, not $100. It's $10 to $10 to $100. It varies actually. If I adopt a biochar, so there is the carbon credit value will be more. So this carbon credit value, the early researchers and also whoever adopting this carbon farming, they have to know this carbon credit computation. Otherwise, we can't get the actual credit values. So based on the what practices we are adopting, suppose agroforestry, that cannot be compared with the person who is adopting conservation agriculture, zero tillage. So there are different carbon credit values for different practices. If there is a huge amount of carbon dioxide carbon sequestration, then the carbon credit value will be higher. So this is a computation, just I wanted to highlight. Next, please. So yeah, I am almost about to in the end of my presentations. I think a few more slides I will be ending up. So I wanted to highlight what actually the gaps, the research gaps, what actually to be addressed. So in the red, you can notice there are 6 major, problems. What we can notice here. The firstly, it is measurement gap. What it is? If I am measuring the soil carbon for the same sample here at ICRISAT, and if someone is measuring and analyzing the carbon content of the same sample, the values are different. So definitely, that's what the case that we have to follow the standard operating procedure protocol for the same SOP should be followed. So that is one of the major gaps. And secondly, the permanence gaps. What it is, the carbon practices we are adopting, and that is also contributing to the greenhouse gas emissions. So we have to see more on the stable carbon pools through biochar or through composting. So where there is high CN ratio crops that has to be utilized well, and the smallholder gap. That is, rather than working with the individual farmers and segregated farmers, let us have the farmers producer organizations where we can recommend some improved practices. They can have a whole under the project they can work. So we can come up with the very authentic recommendations, and it can practically work as well. So that is one of the case. And baseline survey, there is no proper data. There is no historic soil carbon data, firstly. And there is uncertainty of 30 to 50%. That we have to baseline. The soil carbon maps should be developed, and through some demonstration plots, we have to showcase how carbon levels can be achieved through the adoption of the regenerative agriculture practices. We want those learning sites actually, and there is a market gap. It is $2.35. It is very low for carbon credit value. Is very low for whoever adopting carbon farming practice. That value is very cheaper, because that has to be increased actually. Otherwise, if I'm interested to do carbon farming, if I don't get the proper credit value, carbon credit, so I will be no more practicing this. It's a practical case actually. If there is a money, then the farmer can be they can show some interest. Next, please. So what is a roadmap actually? Institutes like ICRISAT, CESRA, and ICR, and a lot of researcher institutes are there. So we have to test. Firstly, we have to test which technology should be suitable for which region and which soil types again. So, and that should be long-term experiment, at least 10 years of experiment. So before recommending anything for for the farmer scale level. So that has to be tested. The research should be very authentic, and again the farmers, the capacity building. We have to create awareness more on the importance of soil carbon. If they don't understand the carbon sequestration, stabilization, at least let us give some carbon credit, the value, money, a direct benefit transfer, so that they show some interest to adopt carbon farming. Otherwise, farmers show negligence. So that has to be rooted through, national agricultural policies, so that we can promote more carbon farming. Next, please. So this is one of my recent visit to France, where I presented ICRISAT's capacity in regenerative agriculture and carbon building approaches. So Dr. Christian Hartmann, who was leading this program, he's a soil scientist at IID Paris, and it was a great moment and opportunity for us to present. So next, please. So this is capacity building for programs that we are conducting at ICRISAT on soil health and soil carbon. A lot of programs we do conduct here. Next, please. So this again on the biochar, where we established a center of excellence. So all the line departments and a lot of stakeholders, they do visit ICRISAT, and we showcase our capacity on biochar and what we are doing, and how to take this biochar into scaling to the farmers. So a lot of capacity building programs being conducted. So next, please. So this is a recent visit of our national, former professor, Dr. Vijay Singh. So he recently visited to our dryland living lab where we showcased what components we are covering under regenerative agriculture, how the mulching practices, helping us to improve soil carbon levels. So a lot of fruitful discussions happened in presence of our Honorable Director General as well. So next, please. So this is our whole team who are working on regenerative agriculture, foodscapes. So Dr. Gajanan Savargaonkar, who is in the middle with the light blue shirt, he's our supervisor. So under his supervision, so we are working on, specifically this regenerative agriculture and climate resilient technologies. So this is our big team. We are working, to serve the farmers, smallholder farmers, and we are coming up with a lot of, crop recommendation, cropping system recommendation to achieve livelihoods and soil health and overall, holistic approach we are having to serve the farmers community. So by this, I'm thankful to all the audience and for bearing, this much time. Thanks to your patience. So thanks again. So next, please. This ICRISAT slide I have to show. Next, please. Yeah. So this is our dryland living lab. On the top, you can see the picture of our living lab. So on the right side, we have farmers of Africa. So we are working in Asia and Africa specifically. So these are the glimpses of our work. So thank you so much again.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Rakesh, for the exceptionally insightful presentation. So you've given us a compelling look at the scientific evidence behind soil carbon dynamics and also the regenerative practices that can transform to system resilience, and also very nice pictures of the living lab that you are doing now. So
thank you.
Now we will open the floor for questions and discussions. If you are joining us online, so please feel free to type your questions into the chat box or raise your virtual hands if you would like to ask the questions. So I think we have already got one question in the chat box from Ji Shengong. So the question is there any studies on deep tillage, Dr. Rakesh?
Sorry, is there any studies
on deep tillage?
Tillage.
On deep tillage. Deep tillage. Yes.
Okay. Definitely, deep tillage is nothing but conventional practice or traditional practice, what we say. So definitely, there are several studies that they are comparing that zero tillage with the minimum tillage, reduced tillage, and also with the deep tillage. Otherwise, if we don't compare with the these type of tillage practices, we cannot come up with the recommendations for at what layer the carbon accumulations are happening. If I don't compare, suppose if I simply say zero tillage, it doesn't mean that if I have to compare with the deep tillage practices. There are studies that what they are observing actually. When we are practicing zero tillage, the accumulation rates are much prominent to the upper layers. And when there is a deep tillage, the distribution of carbon is very much easy. Because since we are tilling the soil, so we are incorporating the residues into the soil. And we are incorporating the biochar or compost, whatever. So that has to be compared, and there are several hundreds of studies that they are comparing with the zero tillage. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. So is there any other questions? Okay, Kunopmani raised her hand, so.
Yes. Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank you so much for your very impressive presentation.
Thank you.
And congratulations for many publications that you have achieved according to your result from the fields.
Yeah.
I have one question concerning to the soil organic carbon concentration on actual carbon stock. Because most of your results are presented as a soil organic carbon concentration.
Yeah.
Have you also calculated carbon stock on an equivalent soil base,
Yes,
soil
yes,
mass basis?
definitely.
Yeah, including the change in the bulk density. Because I
Yes,
think
yes.
that bulk density
We
is
do.
very, especially important when compared between the zero tillage with the conventional tillage, as this practice can change the bulk density.
Yes, definitely. Definitely, we have already calculated carbon stocks, carbon stabilization rates, carbon sequestration rates within the years. I was just highlighting how the practicing RA can improve carbon levels firstly. So I just showed the glimpse of organic carbon concentration. But definitely, I agree with you, and we also have the data of bulk density, because since we are adding residues, that will obviously change the overall bulk density. That means directly, if I say definitely it will reduce the bulk density values. So the stock, when we calculate according to the depth wise, so definitely it will be influenced. The values, when we say about carbon, we have to calculate soil organic carbon stock rather than only mentioning soil organic carbon percentage. But I didn't much highlight in my presentation. But definitely, when we are talking about zero tillage and conventional tillage and all these comparisons, the stock calculation is very much important. Yeah, thank you so much.
Can I have the second question concerning to your slide? You have one slide about the gap of the soil carbon sequestration. Can you show this slide again, please?
I think the organizer was sharing. Anupo, can you please share my presentation?
So the CESRA admin.
Slide gap of the soil carbon sequestration. Because in this slide you mentioned that one of the gap challenge is the data error.
Okay.
Yeah. But then when I see your solution,
yeah,
I saw that you make a solution by apply, no, not this one. Apply the like a digital tool, no? No, it's a table. Because I
is
don't
in the last, I think.
Gap of the soil carbon sequestration. No, it's like a table, two table.
I think upside, yeah.
No, I think after this. No, after is a table one. No. Because the solution that you have proposed is that you would like to use like a digital tool like a spectroscopy.
Okay.
Yeah, but then my opinion is that
I think you're talking about recommendations.
Yeah. But if you mention that the error is come from the lab itself, for me, if your lab quality is not good because you have the bad data, you will not be able to have a very good model by using the spectroscopy.
Yes.
So I would suggest to include the capacity building of the lab on the
definitely
distribution and bulk density as well.
Yes. Because we always, sensors cannot be the solution. We have to go with the wet chemistry, and we have to extract every element from the soil. And I agree with that, and that has to be incorporated. The lab chemistry should be very much required. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So I let other people to ask you.
Dr. Christian highlighted that, yes, that is a slide about the gaps. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Christian. Yeah, I think it's about to include wet chemistry. Definitely, that is the first solution for any recommendation.
Okay, thank you very much. So we are moving next to the next question from Dr. Gina from the Philippines.
Yeah.
So the question is that Center of excellence for biochar production is quite impressive. Can you share with us the scale of adoption by farmers? Are there
Oh,
available equipment, costs involved,
yeah,
and costs involved? Thank you.
yeah. Thank you, Dr. Gina. Firstly, we actually what we are presently, doing at ICRISAT, we have established a center of excellence for biochar, and we are standardizing the prototypes, and the cost we have not yet finalized. Means we are coming up with efficient model types, and the machine, what the community level machine that we adopted here, it costs around 10 lakhs INR. So for the community level production, we have to use the centralized biochar units. For a household level, whatever the drum kind of setup that we are standardizing actually. So I will get back to you. Definitely, you can drop me an email, and of course I will come with you the recommendations and the economic costs as well. So that can be we can have a fruitful discussion on this, definitely.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rakesh, and
Thank you, Dr. Tina.
congratulations for that excellent presentation.
Thank you so much. Nice to see you again back
Yeah.
virtually after a visit to Paris.
Yeah. Can I add one more question?
Please.
Yeah. First of all, really, the presentation is very impressive. The recommendation is straightforward. And I think it's really justifying that biochar is really an effective way to enhance soil carbon sequestration. So the reason why I asked this question, because obviously, I think with regards to the production of biochar over the production of compost, that will take less time, and it is more flexible because in your example, you have given the water hyacinth. And of course, water hyacinth is a problem in all of our major rivers, and it's causing pollution in our river system. So I hope we can work together in this,
Definitely.
because this really has a very great potential for the environment and for agriculture. Maraming salamat, Dr. Rakesh. Looking forward to see you again.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Gina. All your blessings. So definitely we will be having the future collaborations. A lot to do with you. Thank you so much.
Yes. See you soon in the Philippines.
See you soon.
Compact Soul Network. Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gina.
Congratulations.
So we still have a few questions, so I think I will take the last three questions. The first one is from Alicia. Ask about, is there any studies about contaminant in the soil you are studying, and how do you control pests?
Okay, control pest, study about soil contaminants.
Yeah.
Okay. Soil. As of now, we are not having any kind of studies on soil contaminants at present in the aspect of regenerative agriculture. Because studying about the pest, definitely that is very much required for zero tillage kind of experiments. Because since we are applying mulch and we are creating micro environment, definitely that affects that creates opportunity for different kinds of pests. But we have already taken pest and disease experiments that we will be coming up with more recommendations how what kind of management would be better to avoid to restrict the pest and diseases. Definitely, that is one of the good suggestion. But regarding soil contaminants, as of now, we have not taken any kind of exclusive experiments on this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So next question is from Prasadaro Konkala. So I hope I pronounced it right. So thank you for the informative talk, and he has following questions with regard to regenerative agriculture. The first question is, what soil microbes and soil enzymes give rise to higher SOC?
Okay. So actually, we studied the whole microbial biomass carbon. So that is, we subjected our samples to meta-analysis and also the results what we observed with respect to the whole microbial biomass, all sort of bacteria and fungi and actinomycetes. These bacteria, these microbes have been improved a lot under where we applied biologicals. And this regarding enzymes, urease enzyme activity, dehydrogenase enzyme, and acid phosphatase enzyme. These three enzymes have been improved a lot. That we have witnessed through our MBC analysis, and we also studied soil respiration rates. But we noticed some irregular, the patterns were, it was, scientifically it was on par or at par. The results were quite irregular. So that's why we rejected soil respiration rates. So we retained the microbial biomass, carbon, and enzymatic analysis, because that is very much required when we are talking about mulching or biologicals and integration of these components. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Coming to the last question from Pawan Kumar. So, is there any study done ongoing or planned on the Government of India initiative of Bio-Input Resource Center and the impact on soil carbon? More than 10,000 such centers are planned. Can you?
Sorry, can you please repeat, Anupol?
Is there any study done ongoing or planned on the Government of India initiative of Bio-Input Resources Center? Okay, obviously, the studies in the sense there are several already government initiations have been taken in India. We have a national mission on sustainable agriculture. We have a mission for soil carbon farming. So these studies, these policies have been already taken. But the studies is whatever the studies is being doing, it is with respect to the institutes and universities. So that's what we have to collaborate, and we have to the institutes like researchers and universities or academicians, they have to collaborate and to come up with the firstly the digital soil map of the whole country, then the creating MRVs, monitoring, reporting and verification for for the carbon credit specifically. And for when we speak about carbon percentage in the soil, all the there are 30 to 50% variation actually. Well, university is saying something and research institute saying something. So when we gather all these data into one pool, so that we can have a clear-cut research that is very much required for region specific or soil specific, agroecology specific.